Alright, the main villain ride line of season 2 of Divines is here, and probably should have been in the anime, but gets a full-on deck, so let's begin. So let's start off with the starter, Unison Dragon Sybilt, and yes, you must run this one as the partner is coming next. In which we go to the grade 1 with K power, boy aspiring to join the Protector Sybilt, which has the skill of auto when placed by riding on top of Sybilt. Cost, reveal a grade 3 Sybilt from your ride deck. Search your deck for the order cards, Sybilt and Sybilt, we are 1S together. Reveal it and put it to your hand, of course shuffle your deck. Typical ride line that just sets you up, but in lore wise, this is just before the tragedy happens. In which we go to the grade 2 with 10 power, Distorted Heart Sybilt, and based on its artwork, this is when the tragedy happens and when mental pollution happens for Sybilt, which has the skill of auto Vanguard. When this card attacks, cost retire one of your rear guards and reveal a grade 3 Sybilt from your ride deck to draw a card and plus 5 key power. Once again, typical ride line that just sets you up or pluses you. But I do like the lore representation here where it just basically goes out of control and he accidentally kills one of his allies and just basically becomes like this. In which we go to the grade 3 with 13 key power, the out of control part of Sybilt, Malworm Sybilt, which has the skill of Act Vanguard. Once per turn, cost Soul Blast 1. Choose any number of rear guards equal to your opponent's grade, and to the end of turn, they get the mental pollution state and gets plus 5k power, and also gets this skill. Auto rear guard at the end of turn, retire this unit. Once again, it's another one of those decks where it gets better advantages going second basically, because it's based on your opponent's grade, which of course is going to correlate with the next skill where Auto Vanguard. Once per turn at the end of this unit attack the Vanguard, cost count blast 1. Choose either one of your rear guards in mental pollution or your Vanguard and stand it. And then to the end of turn, it gets plus 10 key power and changes drive check to 0. And if your opponent's Vanguard is at least grade 3, you choose 2 units instead. 4 attack deck going first, 5 attack deck going second. Pretty nice, even though this is going to be drive of 0, it does still contain the pressure, kind of like Varga a bit, but you're going to solve this issue a bit because you're definitely going to be getting that drive check back through other means. In which it has a third skill, Auto Vanguard. Once per turn, when your rear guard with mental pollution is retired by your end phase, draw a card. Too bad it's once a turn, because it would have been funny if it's stacked, considering that you could actually put 3 mental pollutions and then after that just retire 3 to draw 3. But it's just too bad it's once a turn, so unfortunately you only draw 1. But overall, it is pretty nice. You basically buff up your own units by basically making them corrupt, which will also kill themselves at the end of the turn, and also restanding units. Kinda wish that there was a bit of a divine skill though, just because Sybilt was one of the divine skill users, technically. And now to the order card. Sybilt and Sybilt, we once were. It's a grade 2 normal order, and you play it if your Vanguard is either Sybilt or Sybilt, and it's free. So you put this to soul to choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets this skill in the end turn. Auto Vanguard once per turn. When your unit with that Sentinel is being retired from rearguard other than during main phase, you can put it back to hand, which is a very nice combination with Sybilt's mental pollution skill, because all of them are just gonna get retired at the end phase, and being able to bounce back all 3 of them back to your hand is always pretty nice. Just basically lyrical right there. And also refunds the soul because Sybilt needs at least 1 soul per turn. But the second skill combos out with the soul blast because auto drop when your at least grade 3 Sybilt is stood by card ability, which will be itself. Cost bind this unit, discard a card from your hand, and change its drive check to 1 into your turn. Sybilt sets its drive check to 0, so making this set to 1 is just very helpful. And overall, this is just a must play 4 of. It basically just turns your retires into pluses, while also make your 3 standing Vanguard even more threatening. And now to the support, we started with Drag Raider Kazim, which is a grade 1 with key power, and the skill is auto. When this unit enters mental pollution state, until the end of turn, this card gets this ability. Auto, when retired from rearguard, you may put this to soul and plus 5 key power. It's just a target for some extra power and put to soul if necessary, but I don't really find this completely necessary considering that you might have other better stuff. And then we go to Drag Raider Shock, which is a grade 1 with key power, and the skill is auto. Backward rearguard once per turn. When a unit in the same column as this unit stand, while this card is in mental pollution state, stand this unit. Considering that you're restanding 2 units, this having the ability to restand isn't too bad. So it's a run in your own leisure. And then we go to Demonic Dragon Berserker Baki, which is a grade 2 with taking power, and the skills auto drop. When you play a normal order and your Vanguard is Unison Dragon, cost counter boss 1, call this to rearguard. A unit that can repopulate the board, which is very nice considering that this is a deck that will be retiring its own rearguards. In which there's a second skill where count rearguard during turn. If your opponent's Vanguard is at least grade 3, all your Unison Dragons get plus 5 key power, and if this card is in mental pollution, this card also gets plus 5 key power. Helps Sybilt with some extra power and being a beater upon its own, which is also pretty nice. Which also makes its superior call skill even better, and also this could be your mental pollution target because this one could just retire itself and then after that just come back. And finally, Designate Flare Dragon, which is a grade 2 with taking power in the skills. Count, if your Vanguard is Unison Dragon, this card gets all the following abilities. Auto, when placed on rearguard, cost counterblast 1, look at how second card to your deck to choose up to 1 Unison Dragon or 1 normal order that is not regardless piece from among them, reveal it, put it in your hand, of course, shuffle your deck, and if you do not reveal a card, you draw a card. Nice that it has some sort of refund, just wish many more cards would actually do this, but this is a nice consistency search for the deck, so obviously you must run it already. But the second portion is auto rearguard. When this card attacks, this card gets a spiky power at the end of the battle, and then cost energy blast 3, choose one of your rearguards, and it gets this skill in the end turn. Auto, when retired from rearguard, put it to hand. So it's a searcher that also gives one of your mental pollution rearguards back the bounce ability. Yeah, this is just a must run because it's consistency. And lastly, here's the secret rare, and next week we're getting the Stokea ride line. And so that's it for this Sybilt ride line. What do you guys think of it? Honestly, Sybilt as a card I think should have been shown in the anime, considering that technically it was the hyped up card, and also it could have been a companion rearguard paralleling Gobilius. But having it as a full-on deck is also pretty awesome as well, making its own mechanic relating to the lore, and in many ways it's actually very similar to Varga. You retire your own stuff, and then your retired stuff is going to get some benefit. And overall, it is a quite of an awesome deck where it basically pollutes your rearguards to give them more power, but at the cost of their own lives, because they're using their desires. But on that, that's it for this, and see you next time.